Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a link in Slack.
I'm sorry?
There's a link to the instructions in Slack.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, great. I grabbed some dinner on the way home.
Yeah.
And oh, they didn't pack a spoon. It's like, oh my God, it's leaking all over. Yeah, this is great. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to just run and get a spoon.
No, you're
and
okay.
some paper towels. Be right back.
I just ate an entire box of Cheez-Its, so.
Yeah, well, my son came over to give me a hand with things today, so by the time we finished up, it was kind of late, and we didn't have time for dinner, and he needed some things that I had to pick up for him, so yeah, I never managed. I'm on my way home, and I realized, oh, geez, never ate dinner or anything. I better hurry up and eat something.
I think I cook almost like every day, but today I was so lazy and I was looking at like pictures of food. It made me so hungry. So I just ordered Chinese.
I thought I was gonna spend the afternoon cooking, and then he decided that today was the day he could give me a hand. So it was like that idea flew out the window. But best to get this stuff done. Our house has just been a disaster since the basement flooded.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so I mean, it's been what, like at least a month now of this. It's horrible. Oh, and they didn't pack that either. Oh my God, did they pack anything I asked them to? Of course not. All right, so one more thing, and I'm good to go. But you guys can get started, so we can talk about where you're at. So you got past the first step. Now, I'll probably have you share your screen so I can look at what you've got so far, just so that we do a few sanity checks so that we don't run into problems later.
Okay.
All right. Now, in general, because you're all still getting used to how, like, the kind of routine for setting up a project, after you downloaded this partially done project, you would have done a bundle install, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And actually, before you did that, it's always a good idea to check the gem file and make sure that the version of Ruby and the version of Rails are what you think it should be. For instance, we're using Ruby 2.4 and Rails 4.2.10, I think. Is that right?
That sounds right.
Yeah. So we should see that in the gem file. Now, once you run the bundle install, you should see a gem file lock. Now, do you understand the difference between the gem file lock and the gem file?
I don't personally.
Okay, so the gem file is kind of your request for these gems and these versions of the gems, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you do a bundle install, bundle tries to accommodate you as best it can and get the versions that you ask for, along with dependencies that play nice together. If it has a problem, like if certain things aren't compatible, it'll tell you. And, you may have to, try a different version or what have you, because they'll usually give you some suggestions. Try this instead. But once you do the bundle install and it's successful, the gem file lock actually lists everything that's being used in your project, whether you asked for it explicitly or it was a dependency that you needed because of something you asked for. Does that make more sense? And it's the actual version. Okay, like in the gem file, you may notice that sometimes there's sort of like a squiggly line or something that says, well, I want this version or you know, at least this version or this version or higher or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you ask for that, Bundle tries to accommodate it, and when you look at the gem file lock, you can see exactly what it provided.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm having some issues with Cloud9, and I don't know why. This is really starting to piss me off. So that would be the next step. Does somebody want to share their screen and we can look at workspaces and that sort of thing?
I'm sharing my screen, so you can just double click on my name.
Yeah, okay, got it. Got it. Wasn't sure who to double click on. So, okay, great. So you've got a gem file, you've got a gem file locked. The next thing we would want to check before we got deep into anything is your database, your database directory, DB.
Yeah.
Okay. So click on that, and what you should do at the beginning, like of any of these homeworks or projects, is you'll be instructed probably to do a rake DB migrate. Get in the habit of doing a rake DB migrate status first, and just see what's up, what isn't, what's the version it's currently up to. Let's see. Can you show me your schema and your latest migration?
Oh, wait, I was on mute. Yeah. How do we check the latest migrations?
Okay, so you see migrate. Click on the migration file.
Here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the migration used to create your database.
Okay.
There's always a first one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can see you've got these 201, 508, blah, 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 and it ends with 22253. So it matches. If you look at your schema, click on your schema.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I'd seen this before. Yeah.
So you want to make sure that your latest migration and your schema versions match. I'm sorry.
All right.
So you're good to go there. And as I said, you've probably already done a rake DB migrate because you deployed the Heroku and all that. So that's and at any time you could do a rake DB migrate status just to verify that your database has been created, that the table is up. It'll give you all that information. Have you tried that?
Not yet. Should I go with Heroku run rake DB migrate status? Or just
I would just say, just do it locally. Just do rake DB migrate colon status. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay.
Good. See, it says the table is up. You've created the movies table, and so you're good to go. And also, you see in the DB folder, nested in the folder, you see development.SQLite. You see that? Oh, you also have it. Don't open it. It's going to look like garbage. But the important thing is that it's been created.
Okay.
And you got a test directory as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like whenever you start testing, you'd want to make sure there's other commands to do that, but you'd want to make sure that your test directory or test tables have been created, and that you have your test database ready to go.
Okay.
Okay. So we're certainly past that, and then we can look at the next thing you would look at is your routes, which is in config.
All right.
Okay. Bring that up, and you've got root, movies, index, resources, movies, which is what was given you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to point out, and I don't know why they did this. It's quite annoying. But your root should be beneath the resources, not on top. So you would be better off cutting line 6 and pasting it to line 18.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Better. Because you really want Rails to defer to those named routes rather than root. Now, have you done a rake routes?
I think so.
Let's see what it looks like.
What's the command?
Rake routes. Rake routes. There you go. Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you understand what you're looking at here? These are the RESTful URIs that Rails has set up for your project currently. Now, you can add to them, but just by saying resources movies, Rails has generated all these routes for you because they're the typical CRUD routes. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And basically, what you see here, it's kind of like a little map. When you, in the URL, if you see your the URL for Rotten Potatoes /movies, and it's combined with the HTTP verb get, that indicates that you want to direct action to the controller, the movies controller. Do you see how it says controller #action?
Yeah.
And you want to go to the index method.
Okay. Got it.
If you see /movies and the HTTP verb that was, that went across is post, then you actually want to create a movie. So that would be the movies controller and the create method, and so on. All right. And if you want to link to any of these, if you're on a page, you're on one page, you want to go to a different page, basically what you do is instead of having to put together the verb and the URI pattern and all this other stuff, you can substitute the helper, okay, the path helper. So in other words, in your code, if you say movies _path, it will by default go to index. If you say movies _path and you give an action of create, then it will not go to the default, which is a get verb. It will go to as if you got a post, and it'll go to movies create. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so these prefixes, you've got the movies prefix for get and post. Then you've got a new movie prefix for get a new movie. Okay, and then edit. Oops, where did we go here? I think it disappeared. Okay. You've got prefix edit movie paired with get. Then you've got single movie is paired with get, patch, put, delete. And you can see that the default would be the get. Default is show. but you can also, using that path, get to update, destroy, or index. And then, of course, we've got root get at the bottom, and really get just redirects to movies index. So, you know, might as well just keep it on the bottom there, where it's not going to cause any trouble.
All right.
So, do you understand what's happening here with the routes?
Yeah, I guess pretty much.
Okay. All right. So now,
could you repeat what you said at the end about get being at the bottom?
Oh, the root being at the bottom. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So what we're doing is we're putting the root. In other words, if you just have Rotten Potatoes and you don't have like /movies or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It will automatically redirect to movies index, which is what you want it to do.
And that's what happened when we changed that one line from line 6 to line 18.
Yeah. Well, the thing about having it at the top is we have run into problems before where it gets there and it goes to unfortunate places. Not so much in your system, but sometimes the autograder doesn't have things tidied up the way it should. I'll point out something. If you go to public, if you go to the public, go there, public. Now, I don't think this version of Rails does this, but there used to be. Do you remember, did you see like a welcome to Rails page at any point in time? Do you remember that?
Not sure.
Okay, because I think some of this has changed, but it used to be that by default, before you put your stuff in, there was a welcome to Rails index page, and it was here in public, right? And the thing that you do is once you get started, once you create your own index page, if there's one in public, you delete it because you're not using it, okay? And there's certain situations where you can go there instead of your index page. We've had trouble before with the autograder actually going there instead of to your index page, and then of course you don't get graded properly. So there's a few things you can do to guard against that. One of them is check the public directory, make sure there isn't a welcome to Rails page there. It would be index.html. And the other thing is put root on the bottom, not on the top, and you shouldn't have any problems.
Okay.
All right. So now let's look at the directions and see just how far you've gotten so far.
We did the first two not
so
parts. We're on part 1 officially.
Right. So you push to Heroku. Good. And now we're going to start sorting the list of movies. Okay. So they're telling you that you have to make the column heading for movie title and release date into clickable links. And you might notice that you have other clickable links on the page. Clicking one of them should cause the list to be reloaded, but sorted in ascending order on the column. So basically, and this, might not be very, very clear unless you've done this sort of thing before. But when you're on like the index page and you click on something and the page reloads with the information sorted, basically you're linking to the same page. Does that make sense? So you're creating a link to the exact same page. You're just sending it certain arguments, telling it to do certain things with the information that hadn't been there before.
So it's something like an on-click function, and we call a method on that click function.
Well, remember, when you click on a link and you go to a particular page, this is all how the Rails route system works. It's going to take you back to the index page, which means the first thing that happens is you hit the movies controller index method. All right, so that's where all this stuff has to happen.
Okay.
All right, and you have to put certain things into the view to make it a clickable link. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Is it link to? Just link _2.
Right, right. So I guess let's start looking at your view. The
All right.
the
Just a sec.
index.
Let me snap my Hangouts because I have to mute and unmute. That's a lot of background noise. And I can't see the unmute button now. Google Hangouts is not responsive.
Huh?
You're
Okay.
still
Right.
broadcasting.
Yeah, you're still broadcasting. Are you just not being able to show your screen?
Oh, I can.
There's your screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to views.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we'll be editing index.
I'm sorry?
Will we be editing index.html?
Eventually, yeah. You can bring up index, and you can get rid of the schema and the migration and the routes. We've already looked at that. It's all good. But bring up index, bring up so you've got your index.html.haml and bring up the movies controller. You could also bring up under models, bring up your movie.rb. Right.
Okay.
Okay. Now you see here, it's telling us that our class movie, and notice this was all generated. Oh, maybe you didn't realize that, but when you give the right Rails commands, all this stuff is automatically generated. And because you said resources movies, it will create this movie.rb model class, and movie singular capital M, notice, is a subclass of active record. And it's what does active record give us? Do you remember?
I don't honestly.
I'm sorry?
I don't remember honestly.
Okay, so active record, the purpose of active record, the class, is to talk to the persistence tier. In other words, talk to the database for us. So even though it may look like we're sending with Rails commands, we're sending commands to the database directly, we're not. We communicate with Active Record. Active Record communicates with the database. So there's sort of a buffer between us and the database. And Active Record is responsible for doing all the CRUD activity. It's already built in. So, you don't have to do anything to get Active Record to work. It's already there.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right. So that's why, even though movie is an important resource, you don't see anything here yet. Now, eventually, we're going to write some methods in here, okay, that are particular to our movie resource. But right now, we don't need anything else. But I mean, I've had a lot of students in the past, they'll go to that and they'll see it and they'll say, well, how does anything work? Because there's nothing in it. Well, that's because everything's already in active record so far. And any new abilities would be programmed in later. Okay, so you've got your index up. Let's look at index.html.haml. So this is what you've got so far. And basically, you're being told that you want to, instead of having movie title just appear there, like just a header, you want it to be a link. All right. Okay. So there's several steps we have to take care of to do that. So let's look at index and work through this step by step.
All right.
All right. We're not even going to worry about sorting yet. Sorting is something that either you write a method in your model that does this, and then the movies controller invokes it, or what you might want to do for right now until you get a little more experience is you can just throw the code, because it's so minimal, you can throw the code into the controller, but never put this code into the view. Now, you've got link to movie title, but I want to warn you about something before you go any further. Is link to movie title an HTML command?
No.
It's ham, right?
Oh, wait a second.
What is link to?
Isn't that HAML?
Well, yeah, but you remember HAML is just a way of presenting, besides HTML, presenting what? What else is embedded in HAML besides HTML?
CSS?
Well, I mean, that's sort of included too, but I'm thinking more as far as programming. Sorry. Like, what language are we? What language should we be working with?
Ruby?
Yeah, yeah. So basically, when we have something like a link to, yes, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have to, yes, okay. We have to say, okay, I want this to be executed, and then the results displayed. So yes, that's exactly what we need to do. Link to movie title, and then you've got movies path, and you want to sort by title. That's right. And then I think it said it wants you to insert, like, give this an ID. Did it say that?
I think it said something about turning it yellow.
Yeah, well, we have to do that, but also look where it says about the link should have the HTML element ID title header. All right, the link. So where would you put that? Where would you put, like, the ID?
Before the equal sign?
No, because are they asking you to give the header itself an ID?
Oh, okay. It's just a link, just the A tag. All right.
Yeah. And that's very tricky, right? A lot of people want to put it where it doesn't belong.
Okay.
So yeah, you're going to add an ID, the title header ID, to the link. So it's just going to be the last argument, to the link to. Right? So you've got link to, movie title. So these are all arguments to link to. Movie title, movies path, where are you going, and then, yeah, ID.
So do we define this in side brackets?
No, you have to, I think there's two ways of doing this. You can either say ID colon and then title header, or you can say colon ID rocket title header.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so I think that should work. All right, so now you've got the ID. Now you still don't have it doing anything. So does it give you any hints about how to make it light up?
We have to use CSS, and okay, we can address it using its ID in the CSS file.
No, you don't want to use the ID. You actually, because yes, the ID the ID goes with the link, but what are you going to need to go with the actual header?
Are you talking about the controller variables?
I'm talking about, you've got on line 7, you've got %th equals. So you're saying I want this to be Ruby code, right? and you got your link to, and you got an ID that identifies the link. But you want to do certain things to the header depending on whether or not those words are clicked.
Oh, okay. We're gonna assign it a class.
Yes, you have to have
Okay.
a class.
All right. Do they mention? Okay, it's highlight right there.
Okay, now you can't give it that because that means if you give it the class highlight,
it will always be highlighted.
It will always be highlighted.
Yeah.
So what sort of things might you be able to do to make it that it only becomes highlight when you want it to?
So you have like an if, like a condition?
Well, yeah, but you don't want to ever put that type of code here, ever. Okay. Now, what are the names of your headers? You've got a title header, right?
Rating, release date, and more info.
Right, and these refer to the instance variables and methods inside the movie class.
Yeah.
So, for instance, you have title, right? Title is an actual one of the members, and you have release date as one of the members, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you look like underneath, movies each do movie, and you've got movie title, rating, release date. So you want to do something according to whether or not the header is one or the other. So I would propose, okay, that one way of doing this is that you can create a hash, right?
Okay.
And you'll have to do this inside your controller. But you can create a hash of header classes or headers, I guess just headers. And one key could be title and one key could be release date. And then based on their value, you just plug that in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start at least to start piecing together how we're going to put the class here. So you have so far in index, you've got the th equals, right?
Yeah.
And the equals applies to the link to, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to define a class for the header, where could you put it?
For the header, it would be before the equals.
Yes.
Okay.
So you can define a set of curly braces before the equals and use the colon class. And then you could have a rocket. I think you could use the other syntax too, but I don't know. I'm just familiar with this. Well, we'll have both here and we'll try them out. And then let's say you have a hash and it's an instance variable called headers, at headers. It has to be, yeah, it's a hash, but we're going to define that in the controller. All right, let's just talk it. Let's talk it through here. So we're going to name it maybe something like at headers. Does that sound like a reasonable name? If you want to call it something else, we can.
Header sounds good.
Okay, so
maybe yeah, sure, header.
Okay, so at, because it's got to be an instance variable, otherwise we won't see it. No, we don't. We're not going to call it a hash. Like I said, it's going to be defined as a hash elsewhere. All we need now is the name. We just need to refer to the name now. And I wouldn't even bother with the release date stuff yet. Let's just get this going. So class, and we're going to define the class. We're going to give it a class name from this hash. So I'm saying if you're going to call it header or headers or something like that, go ahead and put that name there at whatever you want to call it, at header. Okay.
Okay.
And then what will be the key for this class? Because what header is it? Which header are we concerned with? The one for on this line. We're concerned with, not concerned with release date here, right? What are we concerned with?
This title.
Yeah, so that will be our key.
Okay.
So if it's a hash, we have to have and we're calling out that key so we can plug in a value. We have to use square brackets to say this is the key that I'm referring to. Okay, so then put the key in there and put it in as text. Okay, so you've got a title as one of the headers. And you know, this is like how we can make it do something in the future. So that line looks pretty good. Let's start working on the other end, which is in our controller. So we've got index. The index method. Oh, save. Yeah, don't forget to save things. Yeah, save your index so far. Oh, we're not doing this for rating. We're doing it for release date. Line 8. Yeah, we're not making rating clickable. Rating, we're going to do something else with. Yeah, so don't make that clickable. All right. Yeah, I don't think it has a. It should just be TH rating. That's all it should be. TH rating. All that other stuff goes with release.
So it would be similar for release date too, right?
Oh yeah, I mean identical really, but now the key for the header is going to be what? If I have
Release
class and I
date.
have header title, then what is
Release date?
Yeah, yeah. And then ID is whatever they told her to make it. Probably release date, something like that. Release date header or something. I don't know. Whatever the directions say. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, I think that's done now.
Okay. Yeah, so now we have to make, so what's going to happen is the user's going to manipulate this page by clicking on the link. When that happens, when we say link to movie title, movies path, sort, title, blah, 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 okay, the Rails routing system will then take us back to this page because it says movies path, right? But it will have an additional argument. And that argument will be that we should be sorting by title. Okay, now let's look at the controller. One of the things I'd like you to do, where is index? Oh, there it is. Okay. Right after line 13. You see line 13? Can you make a new line? Yeah. Can you say put S and then you know, some text. It'll be params hash. Just say put S params hash. PARAMS. Okay, and then another statement, put S, session hash. Okay, now in between the first and the second, put P params. No, just P params. Yeah, and then after 16, put P session. Okay. Now, quick, do you remember from the reading what's going on with in line 3 through 5? Do you see how this movie params method is being invoked? Well,
yeah, it's got its
defined, sorry.
Yeah.
It's being invoked in like create and an update. So Rails had a problem a few years ago where it was found that you could hack into certain things. And unless you want to set everything into every object one by one, which is ridiculous and tedious, you have to allow mass assignment. So you have to whitelist certain things, and that's what's happening up there. So when you say params require movie permit, title rating, description, release date, that whitelists those members of movie so that you can assign them all at once rather than one at a time. And that's why anytime you're doing mass assignment, you have to invoke this method instead of, just giving it the values. Does that make sense? I want to point that out because when you create yours, you're going to have whatever your resource is, you're going to have a define resource name _ params and do the same thing. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. So that's just a fixture now in Rails that you have to do that. Can you run your project locally right now?
Yeah.
I want to see.
Check the command.
I want you to see what happens when it comes up and it runs now. Just locally. I'm not asking you to do it in Heroku.
Oh, okay.
No, just locally. So if you can't remember the command, just do Rails S and open up a new console and do Rails S.
Just a second.
That's not the full command, but yeah, you have to get to the root of your project. Yeah, don't. Oh, homework 3. No, go to Rotten Potatoes. You have to get to Rotten Potatoes. Yeah. Yeah. Now do a Rails S, and it'll give you a message. Yeah. Now you see Cloud9 help. For Rails, you have to say the full command is Rails S -P $PORT all in caps -B $IP. And the thing is, you now have to go. Yeah. See, it's up. So you have to Control C.
Control C.
You have to Control C. Yeah. Now Rails S.
I'll just.
Well, it won't. I was going to say don't do that. It'll disappear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Rails S. No, Rails S. Okay. -P. Whoa. I was going to.
I was looking for that thing again. Okay.
Rails S -P. Okay. $PORT X minus P, $IP.
I think it's minus P. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. And then no method error, movie index, underdefined method for nil class. Oh, I know why. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was the one piece we had to put in that I didn't. My fault. Go to the controller and index. Go ahead and after line 17, make a new line. Now you called your hash at header.
Yep.
Okay. So you're going to create this hash. And you're going to give it 2 keys. So you could say like at header equals and then curly braces. Okay, equals curly braces. And then in the braces, you're going to define your first key as being title, the text, title, the text. Yeah, title. And then release date is the next one. But you need to, when you do it like this in the curly braces, you're going to say title, rocket, the value. What value does title take? So no.
Okay, yeah, got it.
Yeah, okay. Now just empty string right now. Yeah, and then release date. Rocket, yeah, empty string. Okay. So now you've defined your hash. So it shouldn't bonk now. It should recognize. It's not really going to do anything, but it should recognize it. So try it again. Just go to where it's up and reload the page. Where's it up? Oh, you don't have to take it. You don't have to take it.
Yeah, I forgot this was the command that updates it automatically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, nice. Although somehow we seeded twice. Did you guys seed this twice? Weird. It looks like you ran rake dbc twice.
It's possible.
Sorry?
It's possible that we might have. I don't remember, honestly.
Yeah, well, I mean, before you try to have the autograder look at it, you should get rid of all the crap, like delete all the extra movies. Not a big deal right now, okay? Right, but that's something, you can run RakeDB migrate as many times as you want, but every time you run RakeDB seed, it will put the whole set in again, which is annoying. It's not idempotent like RakeDB migrate. Very irritating. I mean, wouldn't you think it would be,
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got 2 links here. You've got movie title and you've got release date. Did you see that you made that work? And now click on movie title. I guarantee nothing will happen, but click on it.
Yeah.
It is a link. And notice the argument here. Do you see that because you clicked on movie title, your URL now says movies title? Yeah. Now click on release date. Click on release date. Okay. So the information is going across. Okay. Now, you're not doing anything with the information, but that's okay. That's the next step. Do you understand how this is happening now?
Yeah.
So let's look at the movies controller. So far, I mean, you've taken one step in that you've defined this hash, okay? And we know that now you went into CSS yet? Did you do that yet and change, like insert the highlight?
Not yet. Let me do it.
Oh, do that first. Do that before anything else.
We're going to assets. Yeah. All right.
Okay, good. All right, so what that is telling us is that when the value of the class is highlighted, that's going to light up, right?
Yeah.
You can see it's # movies, so it's not an ID, it's a class. And now we have to make some code that'll make that work, okay?
Okay.
So go ahead into your controller. And just for right now, okay? Oh, there's one other thing I wanted you to see. Can you go back to the terminal so we can see what happened when the request came through? Go back to the terminal. Yeah. Now you see all this stuff. Can you like scroll up a little? As much as you can. Scroll up until we see a break in the edge.
Wait. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So stop.
This was the first time, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, but go all the way
Okay.
to the top. Go all the way. Yeah. Okay. Now stop. Whoa, you're jumping. You're gonna make me throw up. Okay. So we start a get, and this goes through several layers. So you'll see this sort of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the HTTP verb here is get, all right?
Okay.
And it's getting all kinds of things. Not only stuff, it's getting the assets. And here we finally get start get /movies sort equals title. Okay? So this is the HTTP verb plus the URL or the URI along with the argument to the URI, which is sort equals title. And notice it says next, processing by movies controller index as HTML. So it's going to the right place. And
Okay.
it says parameters, sort is title. And then remember I had you say params hash. What's in the params hash? The params hash is going to be filled automatically by any arguments you give in that link to, right? When you manipulate the page and it bounces back to the controller, anything that you set on that page gets pushed into this params hash, all right?
Okay.
And so you would assign things with the key value pairs, and it's going to save it. And notice it saved sort is the key and title is the value. It also saved that controller is the key and movies is the value. All right, so it does that automatically because of the link. And action is the key and index is the method or the value. You see that? So all that stuff got sent across your index. Now, you see how I said session hash? There's all kinds of things that get set into the session hash, you know, all the cookies and everything else, it's all in there. Now, if we search, like if we scroll down, eventually we're going to see, well, I don't know, it depends whether this is the first time or the second time. We may see our keys here. I don't know which time this was, but you kind of see all the stuff that gets saved once you begin a session. Does that make sense to you? So it keeps all this data. Yeah, you can kind of scroll through quickly. Either we're going to see it or we're not. It's the thing is we're sending such a small bit of data in the sea of data. It might not be all that visible. When we do other things, it is visible.
Okay.
All right. So let's go to our movies controller. And we know because we did the put s params hash and we looked at the params and we did the put s session hash, we looked at the session. We know that this came across, at least the last time, as the header key was title, right?
Yeah.
Right now we've got them set to empty string.
Empty string.
Right. So what we'll do now is set the value. Okay. And the way that you do that is after 18, make a new line.
After?
After, yeah.
After what? Okay, 18. Got it.
Yeah, new line. Okay, and we're going to say at header. We're going to stuff the correct key at header, and now we need the square brackets because we're going to access one of these headers.
Yeah.
And how are we going to get the header that came across? Do you remember what you saw in the params hash? So
do we need to address it by the sort method that we called on it?
No.
Let me just check again.
Okay. Well, I mean, we're not doing that yet.
Okay, got it.
Right now, we're just highlighting. We're highlighting. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do go back to the movies controller. All right. We saw what the params hash had in it, right? It said what? What did it look like? Do you want to look at it real quick again? See what it looks like. Where do we?
Here.
Params hash. Yeah. Okay. And it gives us a key value pair, right? So if I were to access params sort, because params is a hash, and sort is a key, what would the value be?
Title.
Wouldn't it be the value that I want to access in my header hash?
Yeah.
So let's try that. Go to movies controller. Yeah. Okay. And now, where are you going to get the correct header from?
From sort.
From the params hash, right?
Yeah.
So access the params. Okay. Now, what key are you getting?
Sort.
Well, we know it's sort.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah. Okay. So I'm sorry. That's the name of the key. Yeah. So go ahead and access the value for that key, which is, how you grab something from a hash. So it's params what key? It might be colon sort. You might want to look at that real quick and see, is it storing it as a symbol? No, I mean, like, really look at what it really is. Okay. Like, don't guess. Look at the
is it like sort by?
Look at no. We're not doing that yet. Look at the console. Look at the console and look at the params hash.
It was just sort.
Okay, so it was just sort. Controller. Oh, okay. So it might be just text.
Yeah, it's just text. Sort.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I've seen it with like colon sort, but I think that's just because in a lot of cases Rails will accept either. But it is presented there as text, so go ahead and use it as that.
All right.
Okay. So the value of param sort should be what? Now.
If we clicked on title, then it should be title.
It'll be title. So basically that means this is at header title is assigned the value of what? What value do we want to give it?
Supposed to give the class name.
No. Wait. What how are you using this? Okay, first of all, put in equals after the right bracket. Okay. So header, @header is a hash. And title and release date are keys in that hash. And when we click title, what do we want the value to be? Now remember, this is being used to set the class name. You already did the CSS, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you defined a new class named what?
Oh, we're just supposed to write the class name in strings.
I'm sorry?
We're just supposed to write the name of the class in strings as a string.
No. I'm saying, where's your go to your CSS. Go to your CSS.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the name of this class?
Highlight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So isn't that the value you want it to have when you want it to light up?
So it would just be highlight.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was saying, but maybe I framed it wrong.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Sorry, I didn't understand. Okay. So let's save this and let's try it and see if this works. Ah.
And
now the other one.
Cool.
Okay, and you can see that the argument above in the URI changes according to what we do. Now, of course, we have to get it to sort, right?
Yeah.
But that's not all that hard because Active Record does that stuff.
Okay.
Okay. So one of the things that we can change here is in line 20, don't get rid of it, but put like a hashtag.
Okay.
Put a hashtag in front of 20. Okay. So now make a new line. No, not with that. Yeah.
It was just my trackpad.
Sure. All right. So now we need to create the list of movies. Before it was just all the movies, and we don't care what order. But now we want to care about the order, right?
Okay.
So we could say again @movies equals. Are you aware of the various Active Record methods? Like there's find, there's where.
Like order, where.
Not Googled order.
Right. Okay, so
and like
actually, we're
use this.
We're going to we're try movie. Yeah. Okay, so movie dot order. And then what will determine the order?
Sort.
Oh, it will be this.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so try that.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So, woo.
Cool. And release date works too. Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay. Are you starting to get a feel for this?
Yeah.
Okay. So, are we ready to go on to the next part?
Sure.
How do we delete the duplicate movies?
I'll tell you. You either have to do some funky stuff with the database itself, which you could, or, I mean, one way to do it is just go in there and click on a movie.
Delete it manually.
Click on a movie.
Yeah, I've been trying to find that for a while. Most of the time we've been talking, actually.
Oh, okay. So, like, click on go back to the page.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 2001. We'll click on one of them. Click on the movie.
Okay, more info.
Right.
Okay, we can delete these.
There.
What's the difference between doing like colon sort and like sort in double quotes?
Well, I mean, the thing is that in a lot of cases, Ruby and Rails are a little loose about whether something's being used as a string or a symbol. All right. So a lot of times you can use them interchangeably, not always.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, it's a lot of hit and miss, you know? Most of the time you can do it. And basically, if you run into a situation where you try one, it's not working, try the other.
Okay.
I mean,
Because
seriously.
I was just looking, like on top it says ID is equal to parents colon ID, and then at the bottom we did like double quotes. So I was just wondering if there was a difference.
Right. Well, I'm thinking, are you talking about our code or what we saw coming across?
Yeah, like between like the ID and sort, like within params. Like I
Right.
was wondering if like since for ID we use the colon, I was wondering if it like made a difference or if it was just interchangeable.
Yeah, for the most part. If you find one of those small cases where it's not, you know,
Okay.
you'll realize right away.
Okay.
All right, this is quite nice. All right. So, by the way, I don't know if we're going to be able to finish everything tonight because it's going to get awfully late if we do. Do you have a time tomorrow that people can meet?
Yeah, I'm free pretty much all the day.
I work from noon until 7:30.
Oh, that's not too bad. Now you like to go by Dave, right?
That's either way is fine, but I do generally go by Dave.
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't know that, and I found out recently. So yeah, that's fine. Where do you work?
I work at Walmart. I got promoted to low-level management somewhat recently, and it's terrible.
Oh God, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, a job's a job, right?
Yeah, it was a $2.15 raise and also guaranteed hours. So
Oh wow, yeah. A lot of people don't have that nowadays. Well, good for you.
thanks.
Um, yeah. So I wouldn't want to jeopardize that at all. Um, yeah. So do you want to figure out a time like now so that we just know and don't forget for
I think
tomorrow?
the issue for tomorrow is that I'm pretty sure Shweta works a late shift at Jasmine's until like 11, I think she said.
Oh
So
my
I
God.
don't think she'll be able to do it tomorrow. I'm not sure about Hui Yi, though.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll just have to split it up a little bit.
That would
I'll
work
do,
for me. That'd be
I'll do what I can with who's ever available when.
okay. That sounds good.
All right.
Okay. So maybe you guys want to do something earlier, and maybe Dave, you want to do something a little later.
Sure, that sounds good.
All right. Okay, so let's go on to the next part. And we're going to filter the list of movies by ratings. And a lot of stuff here, I don't think they explain well at all. So we're seeing here, so you're going to copy and paste this code in there at the top of your index. So it's going to say like all movies, and then between, like you see line 3 there? Yeah, make some space. You're going to put all that crap in there. And basically, it's going to give you a set of check boxes.
Okay. All right. So we can check this.
I'm sorry?
I was just saying we'll just check this once. Okay.
You don't have everything there yet.
All right.
Okay. So you've got all movies. I'll put a space after all movies between that and the form, just because it's way too busy. Yeah, okay. So form tag movies path. Method is a get. Now they're asking you to give this an ID. So that's something you'll need to do. You see the, where does it say about the ID here? Your form tag should have the ID ratings form. So do you see, go back to the index, Hamel, the Hamel. Yeah, okay, so form tag, movies path, method is get. Notice that method is the HTTP verb and action is your controller method. So, you know, just in case there's any confusion there. Now, if you're going to add an ID, it's just another argument to form tag. So movies path is the first argument, then method get, second argument. And then before the do, no. The do is starts the block. Yes, so don't, yes. Okay, so ID, and you can set it to what they said, ratings form, I think. Ratings form. Yeah. All right. So include all ratings each do rating. Okay, so you don't have a method named all ratings yet. Rating, checkbox tag. Okay, and then this checkbox tag, that line is not complete. You're gonna have to complete it. Submit tag, refresh, and I think you have to give the submit an ID also, which you can do right now. Yeah, ID, rating, submit. Good. Okay, now if you save that and run it, it'll complain about all ratings not being, not existing. Right? Yep. Okay. So if you look at the instructions, you're supposed to write a method. Say, all ratings, it expects the variable all ratings to be an enumerable collection of all possible values of a movie rating, such as G, PG, PG-13, R. And so the you need to have this variable accessible. And since the possible values of the movie ratings are really the responsibility of the movie model, it's best if the controller sets this variable by consulting the model. So you're going to be creating a class method of movie that returns an appropriate value. Right. Now you have to return a list of these values, right? PG, PG-13 R. Where's your movie?
Right.
Right. Okay. There it is. Oh, and right away, because you're going to forget it otherwise, put your end in there. Okay. Yeah, I mean, anytime you have two ends to something, put them in immediately and then fill in the middle. It's amazing how much time just that will save.
Yeah.
All right, so obviously you could just like create, just shove in that, copy and paste what they had there, just there, and it's the last line of the method, and it should return those values. So, see bracket. Where do they have it up there? No, up higher, where you first read about it. See, such as left bracket, blah 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 blah. Try just copying and pasting it. Okay.
All right.
So that's one way you could do that. All right. And then, okay, so that's the method all ratings. And then in your in your index, movies controller index, you could create an instance variable that said equal to the result of that, right?
Oh, okay. All right.
So like just throw that in, just above 20, or no above that, above right below 17. Yeah, sorry, right below 17. All right. So you need to have, because it's telling you that you have to have this at all ratings instance variable so that the view can look at it. And by the way, if you have variables in your controller that are not instance variables, the view can't see it.
Okay.
Yeah, so in order to make it visible, you have to make it an instance variable. Okay. All ratings equals movie all ratings. Yeah, simple as that. Okay. And why don't you save that and now see what the page looks like?
Okay. Oh, we have the 4 ratings. And
yeah. Okay. So what happens if you check a box? Probably nothing, right? But try it. Refresh.
Nothing.
Did it forget its sorting? I'm not sure, but let's just try it again.
I think when I reloaded the page, it was already working with the sort method, and then when we hit refresh, it went back to the original
sort, the original
order. Yeah, that's what happened.
Okay, probably. All right. So we're not even going to worry about that right now.
Okay.
But what we are going to worry about is that we want the ratings to reflect. We want the ratings to reflect what was chosen.
Okay.
So there's a couple things that we're going to want to do. We want to have a hash.
Okay.
That sets a value to 1 if the thing is checked, and that actually we need to do in the view, because we didn't finish that one line.
Okay.
Okay. So where you see checkbox tag.
Yeah.
Tag ratings rating. Okay, so we see that the box appears, and then it's labeled, ratings, G, ratings, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And okay, can you look at the checkbox tag documentation and look at the arguments it's expecting.
What was that? Check underscore. So name, value equals 1, check, and options.
Okay. So they're trying to explain that okay, so this value equals 1. So basically, if the box is checked, the value is going to be 1. And they don't explain this checked equals false well at all. It's just totally. I love this horrible documentation. Basically, you've got to provide some logic that says whether or not. Now, this has to do with what it comes up as being checked. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll work on this then first. But basically, it's saying you have to have some logic that tells me whether or not I should have this checked or not. Okay. So the first thing is the ratings rating, comma, and then you literally just have to put 1 after it, which sounds ridiculous, but that's how it works. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, comma, then you have to have some logic that says whether or not, and you would only be able to tell this from a variable that you set inside inside your movies controller, right? But you've got to create some variable that determines from the params hash whether something should be checked or not. Okay. And basically, if it is checked, then this box will be checked, and if not, it won't be. So what name do you want to give a variable? Whose responsibility is this? Well, I go to just go to your view for a second, just so that we can kind of frame what we need here. All right, so
to views,
and then we have to say, like, from the when they clicked on the boxes the last time, what ratings were selected, right? And so what do you want to call this variable that will hold that for us?
Is this what we should call ratings underscore form?
Well, it's not just the ratings; it's the ones that were precisely that were selected. Only the selected ones.
Okay, we can just call them check box.
You want to call them like checked, at checked,
Yeah.
something like that, at checked. All right, so at checked.
We'll do this in controller or the view.
Well, I was going to say let's figure out what we want to name it. So you said at checked. Then we'll figure out how it works. At checked. Okay, so that's our variable. And we're going to want to know if this is a collection of the things that were checked. How would we know that a particular rating was in that collection? Is there a method we can invoke that would tell us that?
Is this where we do ratings underscore hashtag and then in the brackets rating, and then have the individual ratings as CSS files or something like that?
Well, I mean, you already kind of have this at the beginning that makes the ratings appear. But right now we're talking about what is the logic that's going to tell you whether or not the box should be checked. And basically you want this to come out to true when the particular rating that you're on, because this is going to, in a block, it's going through each rating one at a time. And given that rating as an argument, how can we tell that it's in this collection of checked ratings? So check dot what would indicate that? Are you aware of a Ruby method we could invoke? So we want to know if something is in this collection. @checked is a collection, right? We're going to make it. @checked is a collection, and how do we know that something is or isn't in it? Do you remember any of your Ruby methods?
Not well, honestly.
We Googled it, the method, so it was like.
Well, how about include? All right.
Yeah. Okay.
So @check dot include, and that's a Boolean, right? Predicate, include question mark, and then what would be our argument to this? What do we have in hand that the block gives it to us? We have all ratings.
Rating.
Rating. Yes.
Yeah, just rating.
So we use that as the argument. Okay. Now you might have to put it in parentheses here. I'm not sure if poetry mode will work. Okay, and then comma, and then aren't you supposed to set an ID here? That's where, Dave,
okay.
You have to do that here. Okay.
Yeah, it's ratings underscore form.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. No, not underscore form. I think we already did that one.
No, that's the ID for the form. Let's check.
Yeah, we already have that. No, this is the one for the tag.
Ratings underscore hash. That's a weird name.
Each checkbox should have an HTML element ID of ratings, # rating. Yes, that's it.
All right, got it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that all has to be in quotes.
Is there like a way to do this other than using the checkbox tag?
Well, we are using the checkbox tag, but here, when you set the ID, you're using string interpolation. You have to put that in quotes. ID ratings, rating, that's got to be in quotes.
Yeah, I just figured that. Yeah.
Yeah, because ratings, #, yeah, that's all string interpolation.
All right.
Got it. Okay, so tag. Okay. All right, so I think we have half of this here. What we could do just real quick to make sure that it doesn't bonk, because we have a new instance variable and we haven't given it a value, is we could just throw really quickly movies controller @checked equals empty list.
Where do we do it?
In the controller, just so it doesn't bonk on the name @checked.
Inside index or just?
So yeah, inside index. Yeah. So you have all ratings, movie all ratings. Right underneath that, 18, make a new line. @checked equals, and then just put an empty collection right now. Yeah, and save that.
Okay.
And what we're gonna want to do at this point is we're going to want to look at the page, check some boxes, and see how the URI changes and what the params and the session, well, really what the params are.
So,
okay.
Wait, let me just remove this.
Yeah, good idea. Just like make it, it's going to be movies, /movies, /movies. Try that. Yeah, okay.
Sure.
All right.
Hit refresh. Weird.
So you see ratings and
Here's a G.
Yeah, G, and it's equal to 1. So it's like it does some pretty weird stuff. So try a couple.
Okay, we see PG and PG-13, both are 1.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So now, if you look at the console, what does it look like as it comes across? Look at the params hash. Okay. And you see, yeah, ratings. So ratings is a hash. That's what I want you to notice.
Okay, we get key value pairs.
Yes, ratings. So here we've got a params hash, and inside the params hash, we have another hash. All right, so ratings is a nested hash inside of the params hash. And ratings is PG equals 1, PG-13 equals 1. Okay?
All
right. So what you have to do now is go inside the controller, and using that information, go ahead and set create an and checked value.
Okay.
Now notice that when you get ratings, like if you look at ratings, all it's sending you are the ones that it wants checked. Is that right?
Yeah, so we can just retrieve the keys.
Yeah, just retrieve the keys and you'll be good.
Okay.
So,
how would I?
So you're using the key of ratings, right?
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Params ratings, and then it would be the keys. Okay. And you might want to put like right after that, do a P at checked, so we can make sure that something looks reasonable.
Okay.
As some instrumentation. Yeah. Oh. I wonder. So we're not unpacking it correctly. So params ratings is a hash, and maybe it's got to be. What if it's params ratings right square bracket and then?
Oh yeah, it's my mistake.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It gets confusing when they get nested like this.
Come on.
Are you refreshing?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the new thing that I wrote. And for no class.
Try colon ratings.
I think it's saying that keys is the problem. The method keys.
Yeah, and I don't know that should be it. I think keys is a legitimate, unless it's not returning what we think it is.
Is it just key maybe without the S?
That really wouldn't make sense. Params rating. I don't know. Let's just do right now. Why don't we just not worry about the keys and let's see if we can do something with params rating and just see what it looks like. So yeah, let's get rid of the keys for right now and see really what we have. So
come on.
Okay, check back. Yeah, well, this is not going to work, obviously. Check. We got a little further. Undefined method includes. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can see that. Let's just look at the console. Because what I want to see is this P checked. Oh, where is it? It should be above for the session. Maybe we should comment out the session so we don't get all this crap because we're not looking at the session yet. So that's my stupid mistake. Like 16 and 17, just put a hash mark in front of them. They'll be useful later, but not right now. Yeah, go ahead. And then okay, yeah. Now let's look at the console. It'll be easier. Start again. Okay. Okay. Right. Processing. Controller. Index. Nil. Yeah, I wouldn't think that would be nil. That's pretty bizarre. Action index. And you click something, right? Or have we clicked something yet? Can you get the page up? You know what? Go ahead to your Hamel, and before the comma, that's before the one. I'm trying to think of where we can tuck that code away. I want to go back to what it was before we modified it, so that it's not getting caught with the @check until we figure out what's going on there. Yeah, do we have a way we could just like cut that and just poke it away somewhere? We don't have to type it again. You actually could just take it, copy it to the controller and put a hashtag in front of it, and then we can copy it back later, right? It's kind of quick and dirty, but it'll work. Yeah. Okay. So let's try it again. Should at least, yeah, okay, good. So we're back here. And let's click on a couple things. Okay. And now let's look at the console. All right, well, certainly not keeping. Here we finally have something. Okay, so params hash, ratings, rock. Oh, okay. Just trying to unpack that. Where is it now? Okay, ratings, rocket, PG equals 1, PG 1. Okay, so keys to rating I don't. I mean, we could just do something pretty quick and dirty in the movies controller. Want to go back there and say ratings equals param ratings or something like that. Just pull it out and then deal with it when it's out of the params. I'm still wondering if we need to call this colon ratings instead of params ratings. But no, that worked this time, didn't it? Okay. So yeah, and that worked. So I checked. Is params rating. Yeah, call it something intermediate. Can you say ratings equals? You don't have anything called just plain ratings, right? Ratings equals params ratings. Okay, ratings equals params ratings, and then at check. I mean, that's obviously a hash. Can we do a p ratings at that point just to be sure that it's a valid hash? It should be, right? Am I on the right track here? It should be a valid hash.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of any reason why it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then you should be able to apply keys to it because keys is a method of the hash class. Returns a new array populated with the keys from this hash.
You can paste this code back into Vue.
Yeah, it looks. I mean, it looks stupid, but
Yeah.
I don't know. We can just do a p ratings and make sure that somehow when we pulled it out of the params, it didn't get screwed up somehow. But it's ratings. No, keep what you've got there. Ratings.key. Yeah. But now, line 19, make a new line, and say p at ratings. Yeah. Okay. We might want to. Okay. Well, let's just try it. Refresh. And look at the console. Yeah. Okay. Isn't this weird? So we got the keys.
Yeah.
What is it that's
Working.
coming up now? What is coming up now? Do you see that? Params hash.
How come it wasn't working before? That's weird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
weird.
I'm mystified by this. I am really mystified. Can we go back to movies controller? I just want to label a couple things. Okay, so we have all ratings, and we have ratings, and then I have p ratings and p check. Ratings is coming out to be nil. Why is that? Oh, maybe we have to make it an instance variable or the console can't see it. That's probably my stupidity. Sorry. At ratings. Yeah, at ratings. Yeah, I'm an idiot. Okay. Yeah, let's try that again, and so maybe we'll see both. At checked. At ratings.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, because now it's, yeah, okay. Blah. Yeah, of course. Yes.
Working.
Yeah, isn't this weird?
Huh.
I just have no clue why that wasn't working. It certainly should. I mean, can you see that?
Yeah.
All right, well, I think we can put that code back and try it.
Yeah.
Okay? Because now check, we can see the checked is pointing to exactly what it should. I don't know why we had trouble unpacking it before, that somehow we weren't unpacking it right, I guess. But I can't, I'm gonna pull out my Ruby book and see why. But now we definitely have it. I checked include rating, okay. So.
Oh, the checkbox stays. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. And try sorting. What? Define method keys for no class. Oh, I see what's going on here. There wasn't, so like we need to check if nothing comes across.
Okay.
So in our movies controller, we should only be looking, like, it should be something like, oh, that's probably what bit us before, okay? So we're only going to pull out the ratings keys if params ratings isn't nil. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do we need to say nil or should it be something else?
No, actually, I think if you say if params rating, that means it has a value, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Check ratings keys if param ratings. We'll try it because I'm worried about if it tries to evaluate ratings keys. That could fail if you're gonna evaluate ratings keys first. But let's just try it. We might want to enter. We might not want to enter that to begin with.
Oh.
So it's probably still null, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back and look at it. Yeah, I think the problem is in this case. Do you see how we're evaluating rating keys? And then it says if params rating. I'm worried that it does that whether or not, that it evaluates it.
Yeah.
I don't know. But so ratings, well, we could
just write an if block.
We could just do ratings equals params rating. Okay, to ratings. Yeah, you just I guess at this point just do an if block. If params ratings. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we can always pretty up things later, but first let's just make sure it works. Okay.
What did I just do? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Should be happier. Yep. Better be happier.
Still trying the same thing.
Really? Oh, because at check now is nil. All right. So
we can just call it an empty string.
Right.
Emptiness.
Yeah. Okay. Empty collection, or else. Yeah.
Did it just say that it was complaining about the include question mark being an undefined method?
Well, the thing is, it's undefined on a nil object. A lot of times when you get that error message that the method is undefined, it's not that the method's undefined on what you think is there. It's that what you think is there is nil.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's much better. Okay. So now basically all we have to do is mess with the session. And I think, is that the last part? Part 3, yeah.
But okay, so we are supposed to filter the list by rating in this part. It wasn't happening before.
Yeah, this is going to happen because we haven't we haven't done any updating of the session.
Okay.
Okay. So I mean, it's working the way it should work right now without taking advantage of the session. Because we're going to use the session to remember our settings. This is actually a good breaking point. And at this point, between today and tomorrow, if you can do a little reading on how the session works and everything, and really look at those instructions.
Yeah.
It would be very helpful for us to get through it. So think very, very carefully about what you would want to have happen if, for instance, you sort everything and then you want to filter it, but you want your sort value saved, right?
Yeah.
And the same thing about your filtering. If you filter and then you want to take the stuff that you filtered and sort it, you don't want it to forget your filtering, right? So here's where you have to think about how you're going to use the params hash versus the session hash to set what you're interested in.
All right.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Do you mind if we sign off for tonight?
No, that sounds good.
Yeah, I don't want to push it. I've been sick, so.
It's just that, like, tomorrow, I feel like we could work separately, like, whoever's free.
That's fine. Yeah, no, that's
at like
fine.
different times, because I work like later at night. And
no, that's fine. That's fine. Not a problem. Just let me know. Let me know exactly. Like, I would like to work with as many of you as I can, but just let me know when, like, each of you can do that. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate your help.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for your dedication. Okay. Rest up.
All right.
You too. Feel better.
Oh yeah, I'm on antibiotics, so it is helping.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Bye now.
All right.
All right.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.